Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button because today we are diving into some absolutely explosive drama coming out of the Republican Party. And when I say explosive, I mean this could reshape the entire 2028 presidential race before it even begins. So here's what's happening. Former President Donald Trump has reportedly refused to publicly endorse a successor for the 2028 presidential race, and this silence has ignited a full-blown power struggle between two of the GOP's biggest names. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The tension is real, the stakes are massive, and we are going to break down everything you need to know. First, let's set the stage. Donald Trump is currently serving his second term as president, which means he cannot run again in 2028 due to constitutional term limits. Now, historically, outgoing presidents often signal support for a preferred successor. Think of it as passing the torch. George H.W. Bush didn't exactly get Reagan's explicit endorsement early on, but there was an understanding. Obama didn't endorse Hillary immediately, but eventually threw his weight behind her. But Trump is doing what Trump does best, keeping everyone guessing. According to multiple sources close to the administration, Trump has been deliberately vague about who he wants to see carry the MAGA movement forward, and this ambiguity isn't just causing confusion, it's creating a vacuum that two of his most prominent allies are now racing to fill. On one side, we have J.D. Vance, the sitting vice president. Vance went from being a Trump critic during the 2016 election to one of his most loyal defenders. He wrote Hillbilly Elegy, became a senator from Ohio, and then got the ultimate stamp of approval when Trump selected him as his running mate. By traditional political logic, Vance should be the heir apparent. The VP slot has historically been a launching pad for presidential runs. On the other side is Marco Rubio, now serving as Secretary of State. Rubio has had quite the journey with Trump. Remember 2016? Little Marco versus Trump in those brutal primary debates? But Rubio has since become one of Trump's most effective surrogates, particularly on foreign policy and national security. He's proven himself as a seasoned politician with strong ties to the critical state of Florida and significant appeal to Latino voters. So why is not Trump just picking one? Several theories are circulating, and they all reveal something interesting about Trump's political instincts. Theory 1. Trump thrives on competition. Throughout his business career and his presidency, Trump has famously pitted subordinates against each other, believing that competition brings out the best performance. Some insiders suggest he's enjoying watching Vance and Rubio compete for his favor, knowing it keeps both of them working harder to prove their loyalty and effectiveness. Theory number 2. Trump doesn't want to be seen as a lame duck. The moment he endorses a successor, some of his political capital transfers to that person. Trump has never been someone who enjoys sharing the spotlight, and by keeping the field open, he maintains maximum relevance and influence throughout his second term. Theory number 3, and this is perhaps the most strategic. Trump might genuinely be undecided. Vance represents the populist America First wing of the party that Trump built. Rubio represents a more establishment-friendly, hawkish foreign policy approach that still embraces Trump's core message. Each has distinct advantages, and Trump might be waiting to see how the political landscape evolves before making such a consequential decision. There's also a fourth possibility that some analysts are floating. Trump might want someone else entirely. Names like Governor Ron DeSantis, despite their past tensions, or even one of Trump's own children, continue to circulate in certain circles. Let's break down J.D. Vance's position. As vice president, Vance has several built-in advantages. He's literally second in command. He's been in every major meeting, every national security briefing, every critical decision of the Trump administration. He can claim direct experience with governance at the highest level. Vance also has a compelling personal narrative. His working-class background in Appalachian, Ohio resonates with the core Trump base, white working-class voters in the Midwest who feel left behind by coastal elites. His book Hillbilly Elegy became a cultural phenomenon precisely because it gave voice to this demographic. Politically, Vance represents ideological continuity. He's taken strong stances on immigration, tough on China, skeptical of foreign interventions, and aggressive on culture war issues. For Trump supporters who want pure MAGA without compromise, Vance is the natural choice. But Vance also has vulnerabilities. His political experience is relatively limited. Just a few years in the Senate before becoming VP, he doesn't have deep relationships across the party establishment. And some traditional Republicans view him with suspicion. There are also questions about his electoral appeal beyond the base. Can he win over suburban moderates? Can he expand the coalition? Critics point to Vance's sometimes combative style and argue he lacks the charisma to lead a national campaign. Fair or not, the comparison to Trump's larger-than-life persona doesn't always favor Vance. Now let's look at Marco Rubio. Rubio brings something Vance doesn't: extensive political experience and proven electoral success in Florida, one of the most important swing states in America. He's won statewide in an incredibly diverse, competitive environment, which demonstrates broader appeal. As Secretary of State, Rubio has been managing America's relationships across the globe. He's confronted China, dealt with Middle Eastern crises, and navigated complex European alliances. This foreign policy expertise is a significant credential, especially in an increasingly unstable world. Rubio also has demographic advantages. As a Cuban American, he has natural appeal to Latino voters, a growing constituency that Republicans desperately need to win over to build a durable majority. He's articulate, polished, and has proven he can handle hostile media environments. His evolution on Trump is also instructive. Rubio went from fierce opponent to loyal ally without appearing to completely abandon his principles. He's managed to maintain credibility with both the MAGA base and more traditional conservatives. A difficult balancing act that few have pulled off successfully. But Rubio faces his own challenges. Some in the hardcore MAGA movement haven't fully forgiven his 2016 opposition to Trump. They remember little Marco and question whether he truly believes in the America First agenda or is simply politically opportunistic. There's also the question of whether Rubio has the fight that Trump voters demand. Does he have the killer instinct to take on Democrats and the media the way Trump did? So what's actually happening behind the scenes? According to various reports, the tension between the Vance and Rubio camps is becoming increasingly visible. Allies of both men are making their cases in conservative media, testing messages, building donor networks, and positioning their candidate as the true heir to Trump's legacy. There have been reports of subtle jabs and speeches, strategic leaks to friendly journalists, and competition for face time with the president. At recent events, observers have noted how both Vance and Rubio seem to be auditioning, delivering remarks clearly designed to show Trump they can carry his message forward. The donor class is watching closely. Major Republican fundraisers are reportedly being courted by both camps, with each side making the case that their candidate is the one who can win in 2028. This matters because presidential campaigns require enormous financial resources, and early money can be decisive. Conservative influencers and media figures are also starting to take sides. Some prominent voices have begun signaling preferences, which creates feedback loops that could influence Trump's eventual decision, assuming he makes one. The bigger question is, what does this drama mean for Republicans in 2028? On one hand, competition can be healthy. It forces potential candidates to sharpen their messages, build organizations, and prove themselves. The Republican primary could be a robust contest of ideas that ultimately produces a stronger nominee. On the other hand, this could turn ugly. If Vance and Rubio become too focused on undermining each other, it could create lasting divisions within the party. Trump's refusal to pick a side might not be strategic genius. It could be setting up a destructive civil war that damages whoever eventually emerges. There's also the question of how Democrats are viewing this. They're certainly taking notes. Understanding the fault lines in the Republican coalition helps them craft messages and strategies for 2028. If the GOP is divided between Vance's populism and Rubio's more traditional conservatism, Democrats can exploit that split. And let's not forget, 2028 is still years away. A lot can happen. Either Vance or Rubio could stumble badly in their current roles. New figures could emerge. The political environment could shift dramatically. We could face economic crises, international conflicts, or domestic upheavals that completely reshape the race. So where does this leave us? Trump's refusal to anoint a successor has created one of the most fascinating political dramas in recent memory. J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, two talented politicians with different strengths and different visions for the party, are now in an increasingly public competition for the soul of the Republican Party. Will Trump eventually make a choice? Will he wait until after his presidency ends? Or will he let the primary process play out naturally, confident that whoever wins will have been battle-tested and ready? Here's what I think. Trump enjoys being the center of attention too much to stay silent forever. At some point, probably closer to 2027, he'll signal a preference. But until then, expect this drama to intensify. Expect more positioning, more subtle conflicts, and more speculation. For political observers, this is must-watch TV. The 2028 Republican primary could be one of the most consequential in modern history, determining not just who runs for president, but what the Republican Party stands for in the post-Trump era. What do you think? Team Vance or Team Rubio? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more political analysis. We're going to be following this story closely as it develops. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.